one of our previous guests, Mr. Stepanov, is no longer with us. So we could give a minute of silence just for Mr. Stepanov. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, we may continue on the segment of the helicopters.
Yeah, so according to one of the humanitarian deliverers, when we asked about the helicopters, they said something about that they were headed to Louisville. Other than that, we don't know much. They could be news crews, they could be just other helicopters, it could be
Police.
anything really.
Could be anything. Yeah. Couldn't
Only
see
thing
the
we know
one
is that
that
they were headed to Louisville.
Yeah, well, we couldn't see the one that was flying overhead today, or not today, but yesterday. We did unfortunately miss that one, and it was pretty fast. I don't know where it was going or what direction. It did sound like it was going northbound though, so probably either heading to West Point or Louisville, somewhere over there. But let's see here. Mr. Green, if you'd like to start with the second topic on the third list of the docket there, below the first one.
Since you all know about the humanitarian delivery here, we have had some first-hand experience, I guess. The truck drivers, they began coughing up, one of them began coughing up blood while they were delivering food into our grocery store. So caution is advised, and when you're buying food, your groceries for this week until the next delivery, maybe go check for any contamination when you're buying it, and if you find anything, you should report it.
Be extra careful cleaning your canned goods, folks. If you buy anything perishable, just know sickness cannot be washed off as simple as that off an apple or your average fruit or vegetables. But I don't know, that guy seemed pretty carefree about his condition. I mean, he was coughing up blood. I mean, he coughed it right on the street in front of us. He wasn't too nice about it, so guy's overly concerned about his health, but at the same time, he, wasn't too concerned about his health. You know what I mean? Like, he was doing a double, or he was kind of being hypocritical with his health condition.
Did he have tuberculosis, or were you able to identify that, or?
Tuberculosis can be treated. I wouldn't call that treated.
But if it is tuberculosis, right? Maybe he's just waiting till the last moment. We don't really know. You know, like it could have been tuberculosis. Maybe smoking too much. There's a lot of things that can cause you to cough blood.
All we know is be extra careful when buying perishables this week.
Yep. Just be careful, folks. The next segment topic in there, Mr. Thompson.
Well, when we were talking to these delivery workers, we were asking them about the business going on in Louisville, since a majority of them were transporting their goods out of Louisville to here. They refused to comment on the situation in Louisville. We asked a lot of questions, and I don't want to get into conspiracy theory territory, but it seems a bit weird that they're refusing to tell us anything about what's happening. Even something as simple as, like, what's the weather like, or do you see the local football game? Something like that. It's very unnerving.
Yeah. Well, we all know there's been a couple chemical incidents in the past. Not necessarily here, but you know what I mean. Like, there's been chemical-related incidents in the past, and usually there's a lot of big government presence around these kinds of issues, because we all know that the chemical spills can get into the water sources, and then once they get into the local water sources, it's just a big catastrophe. You don't want chemical leaks getting out of control.
That would explain the helicopters, maybe.
That too, yeah. You know, we just don't know. That's the thing. And usually utility companies and stuff like that, they don't tend to have helicopters unless they're, you know, it's something bad. So it'd have to be a pretty big incident to be utility. But you know, that's what we're here to do. Is, you know, we speculate on things, most likely answers and conclusions. So you know.
Could
We've
also
been in
be
this-
correlated to the stench in Rosewood that was reported earlier.
That is true. Chemicals can have sense to them, depending on what the ingredients or materials are in those said chemicals.
And since it reportedly was coming from the sewers, sadly, if this is true, we don't know. That could indicate that it got into the water supply. We don't know though. But don't take that with a very large grain of salt.
I mean, all in all,
next one,
it's a bit rough all around, and obviously, I don't think we want to be a news station that reports conspiracy theories or false evidence. So just take everything we're saying with grains of salt and just be skeptical.
Yeah, well, after
I guess
all this,
is the best way.
after all, this is a talk show. You have to remember, listeners. You know, we just talk our minds, we speculate things. You know, we've all been in the business for a few years at least, so we're all pretty covered on our bases when it comes to discoveries and investigation. But
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a drink of water.
No problem. We'll wait for Mr. Thompson to return before we head on to the last two segments here. But safe to say, we had quite a big storm happen not that long ago. It's recommended, folks, that you
Hold on. Did we get a weather report yet from the broadcast station?
it's important to
status on
make
the weather
sure,
report, I
folks,
don't
that
know.
you check
I'll
your
check real quick.
local
I only got here
emergency
like 5 minutes
broadcast
ago.
frequencies,
That's fine.
especially in these trying times. I know not everybody here owns a radio, but I'm sure most people own a car. So,
Well,
Hey,
let's
one
be
second.
honest, if they're listening to us, they probably own a radio.
well, yes, but they may have friends that don't. You never know. This is important
Yeah, you're
information
right.
to get out either way. Is the emergency broadcast frequency for those of you who are either new to the Kentucky region or are not technically savvy, your dial can turn to 92.4. And in the event that you're planning to go on a big trip, maybe, you know, going fishing, you know, the list goes on, camping, that frequency is fairly good to get the weather reports and any other emergency activity that you may need to know about. I believe the Knox Power Grid and Knox Utilities also reports their outages through this radio channel, and they also announce when they're doing test runs.
But
Yep.
yeah, but we will occasionally we will report the weather, and we'll refer to you to that if you need the information. They're more reliable and consistent than we are, at the very least.
Yeah, remember, most of our information we get, by the time we get it, it might have been outdated, so keep that in mind.
Yeah. But if you're always looking for the most accurately available information, I definitely recommend the Knox Emergency Broadcasting System. It'll always be accurate to the best of weather capabilities. But let's see here. Last two things on the docket. I'll let one of you figure out who wants to start talking on this topic, and we'll just kind of go through it.
Pass.
I guess it's you, Mr. Green.
Alright, well, the LPD, or the Louisville Police Department, the LPD has discussed rising crime rates in their city right there, which could indicate one of the reasons why they're keeping it also hush-hush in there. We don't know. Just another one of the crazy theories we have here on this Kentucky radio. But if you live in Louisville and you're listening, stay indoors is my best advice to you if you live in one of the very afflicted areas by the crime. And may God be with you.
Yeah, for those
Well
of you,
said.
for those of you Louisville listeners, definitely with the crime increases, make sure you limit your time outside. You know, make sure you guys, you more common listeners around there that have been with our show for quite a long while. You guys will know that we always recommend having an emergency kit. We usually some canned food, canned goods, or for you fortunate enough to find a surplus store where you can buy MREs and other things like that, you can pretty easily get, you know, yourself prepared for the worst. I believe on our website as well we have a few pieces and bits of information when it comes to what you should have in a survival kit. I'll probably go over that now, actually, just for those of you that may not be fortunate enough to be able to look at our website. You always want to make sure you have a first aid kit. That's always the first important thing. Just in case of injuries, you know, we've had a few earthquakes in the past and other things like that where people have gotten hurt. Always good to have that kind of equipment. Having a handheld walkie-talkie or a long enough range radio, always helpful, so that you can hear government broadcasting or even local government broadcasting if you need assistance or if you need to know where to go for said services that they may be offering during a catastrophe or crisis. Additionally, you should always have a flashlight and spare batteries for both your radio and your flashlight. And this isn't necessarily a required piece of the kit, but it is very helpful. Is if there's ever an event that, say, the power lines are damaged or something, say during an earthquake or whatever it may be, and you know you don't want to, you know, be unseen. Pack one of them high-vis utility vests, you know, the reflective vests, because then people can see you when you're walking through. You'll look like a construction worker, but you know it's better not to get ran over by a car or, you know, get missed in the rubble if you happen to be in some kind of a damaged building or whatever it may be. It's just always very important. Make sure you know that you do your best so that you can get assistance during those kinds of situations. But other than that, we'll see what we got on Q&A list here. Somebody want to pull that up?
I mean, personally, I was just thinking if for that, we probably start inviting any people who have access to a two-way radio to come on the show and talk, or if anyone wants to call in. But I don't think everyone has that capability, unfortunately. Do we get any fan mail, anything like that?
Well, that's what I was gonna look through, is because we do get mail-ins.
I'll pull those up.
Yeah, that's why I said pull up the bin. I'll pull out 3 different things.
Where's the bid?
Under the goddamn table.
Okay.
The big white.
Sorry.
The big
Okay,
white bin.
fuck's sake.
Okay. Jeez. There's the bin. Just take the bin. Jeez.
Only on Kentucky Radio, folks.
Alright, let's see here. Let me pluck through these, see what we can even answer, if there's anything. What's our opinions on the body found in the Ohio River? I assume they're talking about the second one and not the one that we already know about, which was Mr. Stepanov. Well, I do not know Romanov, the individual in the report, who also went by the name of Jacob West, but it is fairly disappointing to see that there's someone found in the Ohio River. I know on occasions we do have drownings that take place in the Ohio River and stuff like that. But considering the FBI got involved in an investigation, I'd say it's much more serious than something of a simple drowning. I think he was probably murdered. And considering he seemed to be going under an alias, it's even possible he was under something like a witness protection.
Or he was trying to hide himself or something.
Yeah, that too. That's always the speculation with people who have a pseudonym or something or other. But any other opinions, Mr. Thomas? Thompson.
Uh,
That matter.
would you? I'll be completely honest. I don't know that much about the whole situation, so I'll just take just from an outsider's perspective. It seems very speculative what we're going off of, but it is very suspicious that it's a pseudonym, and that it's very suspicious. That's all I'll say.
All right, I got the next one. The overload at the Meade County substation. That was pretty impressive to hear about. I mean, it did pop up on the emergency frequency about surges of power and things like that might happen. Makes you wonder, how the hell did the utilities fuck up a hydroelectric dam in the first place? Don't they spend years building that and testing it?
I mean, seriously, these people have like PhDs and master's degrees in like all these fields, and it just doesn't make any sense that they're able to just these places just go down. I mean, I'm not an operative on a hydroelectric dam or anything, but it's just you think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, you'd think. But oh well.
They should have it back up soon, though, I'd imagine, or at least get it like I don't want to say fixed, but in better condition and prevent those surges from happening again. Because it is very, very disruptive for people's lives, especially those who are in the affected area.
Yeah, you're right. They should know
And then
better. They got PhDs and everything.
Then the last one here. Oh, this is an interesting one. There was a TV show host, Kelly Masterson, who got arrested. And he was being charged with 16 counts of felony murder.
16?
Holy shit.
Jeez.
Yeah, he was charged with 5 consecutive life sentences due to, how apparently brutal the murders were.
He's not being executed. He's being. Jeez.
Say that again?
Was he working for WBLN?
I have no idea. I'd have to double check. I don't believe it says.
He 16. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a bit old school, but like, that's a lot, and he's just getting 5 consecutive life sentences. I mean, just that.
Yeah, what a hell of a fucking discovery that is. It's not most days where you find people in entertainment that actually just tend to be big murderous people.
Yeah.
I personally think that the life sentence is better for him, because if you give him the death sentence, then it's all over immediately. But if you give him the life sentence, then he has to go through pain and suffering in prison, like the fucking deserves.
I mean, yeah. Usually, just don't hear those kinds of people committing murder. Usually, it's like, I don't want to say smaller
Well,
stuff,
16
but like,
counts of felony murder. Like, how the hell do you kill 16 people and get away with it?
usually, I mean,
maybe it was old. Maybe maybe he did it like 20 years ago when they just discovered it now.
I mean, that makes him. It still makes him like a serial killer too, doesn't it? Doesn't that
Yeah, it makes him a
constitute
serial killer, but it makes more sense how he got away with it.
Well, he's just more than a serial killer. He's a fucking mass murderer. He's killed 16 people.
that? Usually,
He's-
those kinds of people are they just do like larceny or like embezzlement or fraud and stuff like that, or just like they avoid paying their taxes. It's just surprising hearing like something as big as this.
Well, to be fair, he might have used his influence and fame to attract them, and then,
And then killed. That would make sense. That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like, I still can't believe it. Like, how do you run both a TV show or, just be on TV in general and then manage to murder that many people? It's like, how do you juggle both of those lifestyles?
American Psycho vibes.
My
You're
favorite
telling
movie.
me?
What?
I said, you're telling me? I just could
yeah,
never
yeah,
imagine
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It sounds like shit out of a movie.
I'll be completely honest, if they don't make a documentary or something out of that, like those true crime stuff, like that sort of thing, if they don't make an episode out of that, that's... I need to know how he did that. I don't want to say it's impressive, but it's terrifying that people like that exist.
Well, it's unfortunate that we have to actually worry about this shit.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to invite a guy on here on Kentucky Radio and then just find out that he murdered all of my friends or something. I mean, it's really probably not going to happen, but still, I wouldn't want to worry about that sort of thing.
Yeah, last thing I need is a murderer on this show. Believe me. But I believe that wraps up all the mail questions we got in.
Well, yeah, sounds
But if
Sounds
either
like
you
that's
have
about it.
anything extra to add on, be
I
my
mean-
guest.
Not really, no.
yeah, not me either. I think that's about does it. Well,
All right.
shall,
Well, I suppose from
conclude?
there then we can conclude for the day.
Yep. It was nice talking to you folk, people of Kentucky. And have a good night.
Yep.
Over and out. There we go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not a
What-
bad day at all.
Alright, I'll take the script and I'll leave the script